You're getting ready to start the next play. The chains are set, but are they set right? Here are some things to think about in regards to the chains and forward progress. And it's just a reminder about what forward progress is. We're not really even going to show a lot of forward progress plays, but we're going to show more about spotting the ball. But in order to spot the ball, you need to know about forward progress. You need to know what forward progress is. This is right out of the definition of forward progress in high school. End of advancement of the ball toward opponent's goal line in runner's possession. Forwardmost point of the ball. And this is an important one that I'm going to actually go wide on this because I want everybody to catch this last one, because I think sometimes we confuse this one. So it's airborne player making a catch. It's the furthest point of advancement after possession if contacted by defender. So where this comes into play is when the receiver goes up airborne and is actually going back towards the ball or towards the original line of scrimmage. Catches the ball, is contacted, and then driven back airborne, maintains possession throughout the entire process of the catch. But then where do you spot the ball? Well, in that case, you spot the ball in high school as long as you maintain continuous process of the catch. You continue that action. You then put the ball at the furthest most point where he was contacted airborne. Reverse that, you don't have contact. Same exact play. Then it's where the player is down. That's the difference. You have to have contact. I think there's a lot of test questions on this one where the receiver goes up to catch the ball and he's over the goal line, airborne, and he gets hit and driven back and it's taken down at the 1 or 2 yard line but maintains possession of the ball. High school, that's a touchdown. It's a touchdown because he's possessed, or he was contacted by a defender and he maintained possession. If it's the other way around, meaning like he catches the ball on his own coming back, no contact, lands at the 2, well, it's at wherever his forward progress was when he hit the ground. It's not, he doesn't get the goal line in that point because he was not contacted by a defender. So that's an important point on that one that I wanted everyone to remember. So this is getting back to our spot in the ball. What do we do with the chains, okay? There's actually rule about what to do with the chains, believe it or not. And we don't spend a lot of time on it because it's just the chains, but go ahead and check it out. Remember, when the line to gain and change of possession. So when we have the line to gain for the chains, I'm going to show you this one. So, and change of possession. Remember, we want to try to put the ball on a line. And what I mean by a line, we want to try to put it on a yard mark if one exists on the field. So try to do that. It just makes it easier for everybody. And people say it's cheating. It's not cheating. If you're putting the ball where, when it's a change of possession or like an interception or on a kickoff return or even a long first down run, you put the ball to start that first down starting on a line if you can possibly do it. There are times there are exceptions to it, and there are a couple exceptions. We're going to kind of get into that here in a second, because change of possession, previous spot, and what that means is that, well, I'm even pull up the other one, and safety or a touchback. All right, so when you have the ball, here's first down, here's the back stake, and the tip of the ball should be at the back stake. So this should be on the yard line if you can. This is where the tip of the ball should be at the back stake. Why? Because if they get to the front stake, tip of the ball hits the front stake, that's first down. So now you have a change of possession on a fourth down, okay? So you had the ball here, and let's just say they didn't get any yardage. So it's 3rd and 10, now it's 4th and 10, and now it's going to be 1st and 10 the other way, all right? It's still right here. What do? Well, technically, the chain is supposed to go to the other side because they get the point of the ball. But this is one of those times where if it's not like inside the 5 yard line if you move the ball, this is just Tim Kiefer's personal opinion. You do what you want, but the rule says the chain goes the other side, okay? I say we're going to just slide the ball back and then now we're back on our yard line. That's me personally, because a length of a ball like that in the middle of the field isn't going to matter. And from a stat standpoint, from people actually keeping track, and for you as an official to be able to mark that, I don't necessarily have a problem with it if you do it in a way that makes sense. If not, you have to put that chain on the other side, and then for that series, you're actually at the front of, you're kind of beyond the line and not at the line. So keep that in mind if you do move that chain. But that's where, because they get that, it's the ball. It's the same thing when the ball goes, if you're running the ball out of the end zone and you mark it, and when you mark it, the back end of the ball is touching the white, it's just like the reverse. That's a touchdown when the offense has it. When you do it the other way, it's a safety because the ball has to get completely out. So just keep that in mind in regards to the chains and how you do that. So spot mechanics, sideline officials. This is your thing. You are responsible for those forward progress spots. So make sure you get with your buddy and you guys are in a pregame. If you don't work with somebody, try to have some sort of pregame if you don't work with them all the time. Even then, make sure you're trying to line those spots up because it's important and it looks good and you don't want competing spots. The other thing is you want reverse or cross-field mechanics. There are times where the official on the other side, even though he's away from the ball, is going to have a better view of the ball and can also help. It can also help when you're just marking it and you're lining up so that way your umpire can just look at you because you're lined up with your other official on the other side, even though you didn't have the spot. It makes it easier. They don't have to turn around and then you don't have to look at their butt when they turn around and spot the ball. So they can have the butt look at the other way. So and it's for efficiency. It makes the game go a little bit better as well. So as if you're a sideline official, make sure you got those spots on forward progress. You've got it. Line to gain. You need to know line to gain. We're not to college yet where we get to let the clock run all the time. If it passes the line to gain and the chains are behind you, whether you flip-flop or not, you don't want to be looking over your shoulder. You want to know where that line to gain is. Even if you're the line judge on the other side, you want to know the line to gain is because what happens when you have a play that goes out of bounds, you have to pivot. Or it gets right to the sideline. And he's actually inbounds, but you don't know where the line to gain is. So even as line judge, even when you say, oh, I always got the chain across from me, you want to still know where that line of gain is. Now, referee. I'm going to throw this one to Bill here real quick. And Bill, forward progress by referee. And I even put this up here. Line to gain, knowing the line to gain, but also that the box and the chains, and and what about the quarterback sack? So all that stuff is a referee. First question for you, do you ever have forward progress as a referee? And making sure that all this stuff, the line to gain is set, the box and the chains are set and stuff before we move on to the next series are all important. Can you kind of talk a little bit about that?
I'll have a look at a quarterback who's hit and driven back because I have to. But the problem is I have to move with the quarterback going back as the defender takes him to the ground. So I try to at least get an idea of where it is, and maybe even reach my arm out and point as to a generic spot for the wing official to come back and take the spot, letting them know that, hey, it's not where he's going down. I want it up a couple of yards from here. But other than that, I'm looking at it from behind. So forward progress is not normally a thing I'll take as a referee.
Yeah, so like you said, we can kind of help. We might have an idea, but in the end, we're helping. Kind of like if we had 7, like a deep official helping a short official where it is. We're just helping as a referee. Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, it's not forward progress, but the only time I really kind of get a spot is if I think there's a suspect intentional grounding. This quarterback's in panic mode throwing a ball. I might not throw a flag, but I'm going to go to the spot he threw it from and then look to my official. So in one breath, I'm kind of doing a progress spot because that's where we're going to do a penalty from. But other than that, no. When it comes to the runner, it's not mine.
All right, cool. So now the last thing is the umpire. Now, Mike, I'm going to bring you in on this one. And I love my umpires. I work with lots of good umpires, and I've been an umpire or center judge now, even like a center or an umpire in the backfield or whatever. Why can't a lot of umpires figure out how to spot the ball? Like, why do they always put it where you're not why? And if you want to comment, you want to text Robert, umpires out there, why don't you ever get it right? Well, maybe I'm exaggerating, but a lot of times I'm standing right here, and now you're a yard off. What do you attribute that to, and how do you handle that as a wing official?
Yeah, as a wing official, if I'm having problems with the umpire spotting the ball, I'm going to ask him to just take it from the far side guy. Sometimes when he's a little bit too close to you, I mean the kind of the angle looks a little wrong. He gets spun around, and he can't quite see the line, especially on a grass field with a crown. Just always get the far side official. You got better perspective. But yeah, I honestly, if they do it all the time, I know as a referee, I don't want to spot the football ever because I'm almost always way off. So, I have sympathy for the umpire.
Yeah, it's just funny how it happens sometimes. So I will say this though, umpires, and we're gonna have a couple clips we're gonna show here, but under 2 minutes. So a lot of umpires, you know, they believe like there's a force field at the hashes. There's this imaginary force field that if they go through the hash mark, bam, they're gonna be, electrocuted or something. Good umpires can get sideline to sideline. It's a different game now. It's a different, umpires are not the roly polies that they used to be. They are part of us. They're part of our officiating crew. So getting out there and getting those balls, especially under 2 minutes, we should not be throwing a ball around under 2 minutes in a half. You need to get out there, get the ball, because we've shown plays here where bad things can happen when the ball ends up on the ground with very few minutes or seconds left in a game or a half. So umpires, this is just a reminder, make sure under 2 minutes you're going sideline to sideline and getting that ball and spotting it expeditiously, because it's just going to make the crew look better. And that was the other point, is that we move with a purpose in those situations, but we don't rush. There is a difference between hurrying or rushing or being expeditious and moving with a purpose. Just so I hope people understand the difference there. So that is the presentation part of it, but we're going to have a couple film clips to go with this just to kind of illustrate the points of some of the stuff we're talking about. Before I do that, I'm going to bring Robert in, because I'm sure Robert's got some comments from some umpires. No offense, I love my umpires. I umpire, I got my U, I'm umpired, but Robert, I'm sure we've got some comments out there.
Yeah. In defense for the umpires who are not present, they claim it's just frustrating when they see two wings and they're not mirroring each other and there's two different progress spots.
Absolutely. It's frustrating for me as the wing because I know I'm right. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I know it's like, yeah, I know what you mean.
Truly. And then Gene Jackson had a great comment on spotting as a referee when there's a sack behind the line of scrimmage. He just believes that his angle's wide enough where he would have the best judgment on where that progress ended. So
no, and I think sometimes referees can. I just want to get Bill's opinion. I appreciate it. And sometimes as a referee, I know, I have a good idea where that forward progress was stopped, and I want to help out. I just want to say, hey, it's right here, and I think a lot of times the wings appreciate that, because especially if they had some sort of pass and they were looking downfield, and they're going to be kind of guessing anyways. So to help them out, I think in the end, I know if I'm a wing, when I see a referee pointing or helping out, I do appreciate that. So I appreciate Gene's comment as well.
One last question we have, Tim, is when as a wing would you make a point to correct the umpire on an improper spot? Is there a distance where you kind of let it go?
We're going to hold that because we've got we have that coming up for discussion. But I heard Bill say something. Bill, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, here's one of the things. If an umpire's having a problem where these two guys aren't lining up, I think there's two things. Number one, he needs to have a conversation and get that corrected for future times, whether it's for the second half or for the next game, so they get on the same page. The second thing is, if it's critical time, he needs to get the ball out from one side, and when he turns around and go back, he never looks back at the guy behind him again. He takes and puts that ball down looking at the guy across from him. And because if he has to get to the middle and turn back around to where he just came from, he's blowing time off the clock.
Right.
That's important to the team. He's got his back to him. He looks opposite. And if all of a sudden that's not a great spot, he needs to get that corrected at halftime or after the game with the crew.
Right. And we're going to talk, we got a play coming up that you're familiar with that we're going to talk a little bit about that and that situation about. That's why it's important for those cross-field mechanics to be active as not only the umpire knowing that your two wings are going to work together and to be able to not make you have to do that spin, especially late in a half or in the game. All right, so our first play here, it's going to kind of illustrate, this is not a poll play, where I'll let you know when the next question's ready and loaded, but this has nothing to do with this. I'll let you know when that play comes up. But this one's just more of an example play to kind of go through some of the points that we were just discussing. So you see the down and distance. It's 4th and 2 now. Big lines involved, okay? 35-45. This should be pretty easy. So this is the first part of this play. You're going to see what happens. You're going to see looks like he's down about, maybe the 46. Now look at our sideline official at the top. So our sideline official at the top, he's kind of in no man's land in between 2 yards, okay? Now you see our umpire come up and get the ball. All right, so now we're going to go to the next play in this series. All right, so now you see where the chains were set. The ball got moved up to the 42. And you see the line judge at the bottom of the screen correcting this, saying, no, it was at the 41. And the H at the top had already set the chains. The umpire had put the ball, had gone off the H. I'll go back to the previous play so you can see exactly what happened on this 4th down. And the ball's there. It does look like it opens up to the line judge. You don't see on the film, but he would have this spot. And I don't think the H up the top here is going to have a great look at it. So I would give him that. But in this instance, now we've got this, and now we're coming in to correct this after we've already blown the ball ready for play and pretty much set the chains. Okay, and now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to back it up. Now the H is on board. Oh yeah, back it up, Mr. Umpire. Back it up. And here we go. And now we're rolling again. So to Robert, he said that this was a question that came up. Well, this crew obviously felt that this was big enough to move. So I'm going to bring up Mike, because I know Mike works wing. Mike, on a situation like this, 1st down, yeah, it was a tight 4th down play. Now we've already kind of set stuff. Are you coming in and making a change like this?
In the middle of the field? No, this is not significant. This is not a big enough change. Maybe inside the 20, sure. Inside the 25, maybe. The closer I get to the goal line, the more serious 1 yard becomes. Middle of the field, 1st and 10. It's 1st and 10. Let's roll.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Bill, if you're the referee, would you want on your crew? Obviously we want to try to get it right the first time, but do you want this move like this?
Absolutely not. I want this either handled right with the umpire the first time or leave it alone.
Okay. All right. I like that. And then, Robert, how about you personally, or is anybody texting in with any questions or comments on this?
I haven't seen any comments or questions, but I agree with Bill and Mike on this one.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm going back to this one. If I'm letting this one go, and then I might have a conversation. This is the first half. It looks like it is. It looks like it's the 2nd quarter. So yeah, I'm having a conversation at halftime about this. That hey, whoever messed it up. If I'm the line judge, maybe I'm coming in a little harder. This was, you're going back to this now. Was it a clear? This is the previous play, but this is a 4th down play. Okay, so if I'm the line judge down here, and this happens, now he's over, but he's not over. Like I'm coming in. You're gonna see me coming in now at the bottom. This is a tight. This is a 4th down play. You want to kind of, in my sense, show a little bit more sense of urgency and have a presence. Do you want to go all the way in? Not necessarily, but I definitely should see you on the film. And I should see the head linesman, the H at the top, coming in as well, because this is a 4th down play. I think that would help get the spot a little bit more accurate on that regard. All right, so let's go to our next play. Now this one I'm going to set up. This play, before we get to it, it's at the end of the game. There's 19 seconds left to go in this game, and it's just understand that this is crunch time. The score is 6-0, and the team that has the ball is the one that is down the 6. So unfortunately, we lose some of the stuff on the clock, but you're going to get the gist of it. So right now, it's 19 seconds and the ball has been snapped. All right, so the clock is ticking down, 17 now. You've got this down. Now the offensive team is out of timeouts, okay? They cannot stop the clock, and you've got 11 seconds to go, all right? And it's third down going to fourth down. So this will most likely be the last play of the game regardless, okay? 9 seconds. I'm going to back it up again just so everybody could see. I just wanted to set it up correctly. All right, so now you got 12 seconds. Going to fourth down, 9 seconds. No timeout. Now look where the umpire places the ball. Now we're going to lose it here just for a second because the way unfortunately the film jumped around a little bit. But you see where at the top of the screen where the line of scrimmage official is marking the ball, and you see now where the umpire put the ball. And now there's 5 seconds to go, and Team A, the team in blue, does not have any timeouts, okay? So I'm going to let this one play out. I had to stop it because you're going to see the camera, unfortunately, this particular broadcast jumped around. So you're not going to see what exactly happened. We're going to jump ahead a little bit because they do this replay. And so there's stuff going on right now that you're not seeing. This is the replay. But you're going to see once they go back to live action, they stopped it. So the wing official stopped it in order to reset the ball, and then they rolled it, and the game ended right there, because there it is. The game ended right there. So I want everyone to think about this. This is not a poll one. This is just we need to talk about handling a play like this. And I'm going to bring Bill in first on this one because Bill knows this play. And I've been waiting 6 months to show this play, Bill, because it's an important play. So just walk us through it. And if you were the supervisor of this, how would you have wanted it handled?
Yeah, this was in one of our international tournaments. I think it was the women's tournament too. But who decided whether they were going to, I won't say decided the game, but who decided whether they were going to get a playoff or not? And that was the officials. And again, the umpire running the ball back in, I don't want him turning around looking, but I sure hope that wing on the far side had matched up to a spot and was trying to get the umpire's attention as he was coming back to the hash to put a ball down. There's part of me that says, well, if you're going to shut it down, then we're going to, there is a loophole in the college and IFAP rule that says now we can go on the snap because we stopped the clock and it was out of the team control. But the other part to it is that you got to make a decision here. Is that 2 yards? If you can't get the umpire's attention for his initial spotting, and he's put it down and got out of there, you got to make a decision whether that 2 yards is worth stopping. And I say no. Let him. You play it right from there.
Yeah,
it'd be different if we were down inside the 10, the 2, the 1. But again, if they're going to have to crank one downfield to win the game anyway. So I wouldn't like the spot, but I'd say they should have left it alone.
Yeah, here's the thing. The right thing happened here, but the wrong thing could have happened. They didn't get the play off. But which is interesting to me because the offense pretty much had a shot to do a freebie, and they didn't. So the right thing ended up happening because I go back to the play, and if you see the time, like I said, I was walking through so everybody could see it's at the top left, 18, 17, 13 now. And now at this point, you're looking and you're going, all right, they're not even hustling to the line until now, and there's only 5 seconds. So 4, 3, are they going to get set to run that play it would be very difficult for them to do that. And now what ends up happening is that we stop it and we give them the opportunity, and then it's just crazy. They just don't do anything with it. So
Yeah.
I think in the end it works out. Now, one last point I'm going to make on this one, and you heard Bill, and I agree with Bill, and if Mike and Robert have something different, then just pipe up here after this, and I'll get to you. Or Robert, if anybody has a question or a comment, let me know. I mentioned this earlier. We talk about it's crunch time. Umpires going sideline to sideline. And I said, you don't want to hurry. You don't want to rush, but you want to move with a sense of urgency, a sense of efficiency. This official is in a hurry. He's rushing. See him how he's just running. He's not paying any attention to what's going on. That is rushing. That is being too quick and not allowing yourself to still officiate. Yes, we want to do what we can to get that ball down to give them an opportunity, but we also don't want to have something like this happen because we rushed it and we didn't take our time. We need to move with a sense of purpose and a sense of urgency, but we don't rush or hurry. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Robert or Mike, if you got anything else, Robert, just raise your hand. Let me know. Otherwise, we can move on. I see Robert raising his hand.
The only thing I want to say, Tim, is you were spot on with your vocabulary in that regard. We did have comments from our viewers that said, look, they used the word panic. Obviously there was a sense of urgency there, but urgency without cause, move with purpose, right?
Right.
Someone even suggested this is a great opportunity to just simply get on 0-2-0 and say we're at the 32, whatever line mark it is. Yeah, I mean, all those comments by the viewers, you're thinking positively, strategically, and you're moving with purpose, and that's best practice.